What's up everybody, welcome to Back with Moto. Today we're going to try to relocate the coolant overflow tank. Alright guys, we're back with another episode of the Sabre over here. I'm currently waiting on parts for the carburetors. So the reassembly of those and hopefully restarting the engine again, we'll have to wait for another episode. So today I figured what I'll do is I'll do some work to try to relocate the coolant overflow tank. Now on the Sabre, the coolant overflow tank, kind of the flow starts from here. So we have the main cap and we have this hose that kind of runs out here. If we follow this hose, it goes up and over under the thing and then swings down to the overflow tank right here. So today what we're going to try to do is try to take this guy and move him potentially in a completely different container right about here, just so we can start freeing up this space in this area. The bike right now has this rear suspension whatever and a little container in here. It's like a free space that you can put stuff, so this glove compartment or whatever you want to call it. We're probably going to move the fuse box that we're going to have to figure out where to put. I might just keep it here for now, just so I don't mess up any of the electronics for the time being, and then deal with it at a later point. So yeah, today we're going to move this guy. Alright, so first order of business will be removing the hosing, this and this, just so we can see how this is actually attached. I know there's a screw right here, there might be another one on the bottom. And then we'll look how to take this guy off, drain him, and then move on from there. Alright, both hoses are now removed. The one on top just kind of routed itself. I just pulled out the little 90-degree fitment over here, put it down here to drain. The other one actually was just held by the metal clip on here, and the rest of it was actually running down from here, between here, down this way, and then down like that gap that way, and then eventually it went down through here and all the way down here to drain at the bottom. So now with those off, we see there's a bolt up here, and I think, yeah, it feels like that's the only thing that's holding it, so should be pretty easy to remove. Alright, so that one screw was indeed the only thing that was holding it up. Now the interesting bit is there is some wiring on the bottom, so I'll check the service manual to see what this is for. Gonna guess it's probably for coolant level, so we'll see how we're gonna deal with that, as I was planning to use a different container, so that might change my plans a little bit. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright guys, so after checking two different service manuals for this particular bike, what's in here, as you see, I already got one of the manuals up here, is actually a level sensor. So essentially, if the level is far too low or this thing is empty, this will probably trigger a warning light on the dashboard showing that there isn't enough coolant in the system. So whatever I replace this with, I will need the bottom of it to be able to fit that sensor. So that's good to know. Alternatively, I can just remove that and like remove that entire circuit. I am changing the gauges at the front, so I can get rid of that completely. And I was wondering whether or not that might be a temperature sensor, but it's not. The temperature sensor is in the thermostat on the other side. So I could safely remove this or look for a bottle that could potentially fit on the bottom one. So yeah, I'll probably go to the hardware store or Walmart and see what I can find to work with and fabricate something that looks nicer and fits outside there, so we can start freeing up this space under here. Alright, so another important bit of information that we should figure out is how much that volume of fluid actually is. So I cleaned this out, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to literally fill it up to here, or rather fill it up to the top line, and then start pouring it out into this until I reach the bottom line, see how much that difference is. Okay, that's a bit too much. Alright, so now we have the fluid up until here. I'm going to pour it out until it reaches the other hole, or the other measure. Alright, so that's roughly to here. We have our measure. And that shows just under 250 ml, as you can see. Alright, so we know that we have about 250 milliliters of deviation from the low to the upper limit in the tank. So we need something, the new container that I'm going to get needs to fit at least that. Now obviously if it's just a 250 ml container, milliliter container, that would imply that there isn't any in it to begin with, which is not good, because then the entire coolant system will start sucking in air, making it inefficient. So we need something that's more than 250 milliliters. So I'm thinking at least 350 and max 500 milliliters. I think, yeah, I think that's about how much this whole thing is. The other thing that I measured is the distance from here to here. We can kind of see that that's, you know, just let's say roughly 8 inches. I do want to mount whatever I get, like in this area, and I don't want to exceed that height. So we're looking at something that is just around 8 inches maximum, that can fit about 500 milliliters maximum of liquid in it. Alright guys, so before I go to the store to get some stuff, I actually removed the toolbox. This is some pretty good plastic, and I might be able to cut out some of the pieces off of it, like this piece up here, to actually help with mounting the electronics that were in it. Now what was actually attached to it is this, which is the fuse box. Like if you open this cap, you have the fuses inside. This will probably like orient this way and mount under here. We had the rectifier, which was on top, and inside of that little plastic compartment that I'm thinking to take is this black box. Looking at the manual, this is the automatic turn signal canceling unit. So this is wired up through the harness up to the stem, the head. There's a sensor at the bottom of it that senses lean angles. So after you've turned the signal on, once you lean in, straighten the bike back out, it detects that, sends a signal to this thing, which then sends a cancellation signal to the turn signals. So that might be awesome to have. Now it is a massive unit, so might get real tight under that seat. So we'll see how we're gonna fit things, because technically we're gonna have this space to work with and maybe a little bit of space between this thing and here. on whatever the loop I create. So we're gonna need to arrange all that in there somehow. But yeah, as you see, this area is already kind of like starting to clear out. You see the battery on the other side. Once I take the battery out and get a smaller one, this area is almost pretty much clean. I do have to figure out what this is. It looks like it has a key to it and this bit right here. So I'm believing that this is the security system on the bike, because I did find a big lock, like a metal lock chain, but with no lock on it. So I'm thinking you put the lock mechanism in here, run it through the wheel, and that locks the bike in. So we'll see if I get rid of this to just clear things up a bit more or keep it. And yeah, so this side is looking good so far. Alright guys, so I went to Walmart and to the hardware store, and this is what I got. So one of these water active drink water bottle things. So the reason I picked this one is the shape under it is actually pretty good. It's 450 milliliters, so that fits within the more than 250 ml that we needed. It's less than 8 inches, so perfect bottle for that. And then from the hardware store, I ended up buying one of these 3/8 of an inch T connectors. So what I'll do with these is essentially, let's open that up. So that's just a T connector like that. So what I'm planning on doing is taking this cap, drilling a hole in the middle, putting this guy this way through it so that it will sit like so inside, and then putting a piece of hose on it in the middle so it runs all the way down, putting the hose connecting to the radiator on top, and then a drain hose on the side for in the case that this fills up. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. First order of business would be doing that, and then we'll look into potentially solutions for getting that level or whatever filled meter at the bottom. So yeah, for now we're gonna strip this first and then cut the cap in the middle, epoxy that piece in, cut up. This is the hose that went from the overflow container down through the frame of the bike and draining down onto the floor. So I'm going to use that to cut pieces that I'll need for the inside of this and for the drain. And yeah, so here we go. So first things first. Alright, now that that's off, so you can see the actual shape of the bottle. So I figured that, you know, that's a pretty cool shape. And yeah, we have these ridges like here, 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 and here. These two are pretty deep, so I think I might use those to attach it, or perhaps the top and the bottom one. And I like the shape of it. I'll probably end up painting this some sort of flat black or gloss black. And I think what I'll do is I'll leave one of these ridges unpainted so that I can see the level inside, instead of having one of those like hoses that are mounted on the outside like that. So yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty cool. So in order to drill this, you can do this many different ways. You can obviously take a drill through it and just buzz it for 3/8. What I plan on doing is something a bit more precise. So I bought this on a Black Friday deal on Amazon. It's essentially a Dremel kit or a rotary tool. Comes with a bunch of neat things. Most importantly, it comes with all these little like gizmos and gadgets, which are perfect for little precision work like this. So we're going to use this to essentially get a big enough opening in the center of that cap and get things going. Perfect. So there you go. Easy peasy. So now, just to make sure that we have a proper seal here and we're not getting coolant coolant coming out from this, we're going to use some epoxy to get that sealed up, and we should be good to go. Alright, so I'm just going to epoxy it up now. Okay, so there we go. We've epoxied it. So this side and then the other side. So right now we just gotta wait for the epoxy to dry. In the meantime, I can measure out some of the hose lengths that I need and start cutting them. So we have the bottle. And we have the hose. Now we're gonna need the hose to definitely reach the bottom, so that's at least this much height, right? So at least this much. So we're gonna cut it here. Okay. There we go, so we have a piece of hose, fits inside, perfect. Okay, and the rest we're going to essentially, so this piece will go onto the bottom, like so, and then this piece will be on the outside, connected to the other end of the T, the one that's horizontal. Connected there and then draining down on the bike. So I'm going to cut it to proper length once I go back to the bike with this. We're back in the garage. Here's the result of what we built inside, with the hose already put in it. We have the top. The idea is we're going to mount it right here. This hose will cut to length, so it attaches right at the top. And the other hose we're gonna cut so that it attaches to this, and then it goes down behind the frame here and drains to the floor. So that's it. Alright, so this is just a test fitment, obviously. We have the main hose from the top coming into the bottle. We have the one inside the bottle. And we have the additional drain on the side, which loops around and goes down to the bottom and just drains. Obviously the zip ties are just right now temporary. I think what I'll end up doing is I'll have to figure out a way to make a little like stand under the bottle so it stands and stays in place. Obviously I need to paint it. We'll need to consider heat here, so zip ties might not be the best thing because they'll probably melt right around here. So I'll have to figure out a better way to anchor it to that, maybe some sort of metal type fastening. And similarly this bottle, we'll see how it holds up to heat. So once I get the engine running, I'll probably try to get it to operating temperatures, so that we have heat coming off of the engine, but also heat from the coolant fluid in there, and see how the bottle takes it. If it's good, then and it's not starting to melt, we're in good condition. If it's not, we'll go back to the drawing board and look for something that has a metal body, essentially. But that's it for now. I'll have another episode where I do the painting and finishing and the bracket and how I mount it. But for now, this should do. Alright guys, thanks for watching another episode. Make sure to subscribe and click the little bell to get notifications when new episodes become available. Also make sure to check me out on Instagram at balkanmoto2018, where I post pictures of different details that I do in the builds, things that I found around town, and inspirational bike builds all over the internet. Also make sure to check out www.balkanmoto.com, where I post articles accompanying each of these videos with more details, pictures, and just general lore of what I do. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.